Well, good morning, you sexy mother hubbards. It's time for an alternative paper review. First up to the Telegraph, which suggests that half of all police are not investigating crimes properly. Meanwhile, the Daily Mail clutches its pearls, suggesting that police forces are giving up on 4 crimes every minute. So both of these newspapers are channeling the idea that the police they're not really doing their job. You know, you dial 999, you're like, yeah, somebody's burgled my house. Somebody's just stolen my car. Somebody's illegally lobbied the Department of Health and walked away with £60 million of NHS money. And what do the police do? The police go, oh, that's really tough, man. For you? Anyway, back to this. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you. That sounds traumatic. But anyway, here's a reference number and we'll give you a call if anyone confesses. That is the standard of criminal investigation in the UK these days. Officer, I'd like to report a crime. Somebody diluted the clean waters regulation and my kids went swimming in the river and they've come out with sores. What were you wearing? I mean, look, I'm mocking the police, all right? But they do a very difficult job. They do. And they've come a long way in the last sort of 20, 30 years. You know, back in my day, when I was like 15, 16, if you had a lot of loud music on, house parties, people drinking, they would shut that down. Whereas nowadays, they turn a blind eye to it. Over to The Guardian now, who report that Tony Blair, back in the day, was considering shipping his refugees off to an island in Scotland. And this is a story that's being reported across the press this morning and predictably amplified by people like Neanderthal. Like, it's as predictable as it is transparent when they develop their talking points, their attack lines. Because here we have newspaper articles covering what is a legitimate story. Tony Blair, when faced with an influx of asylum seekers, was having to think, well, where am I going to house these people? Where could we build accommodation? Where is land cheap? And he, for reasons best known to himself and his team, decided that this place up in Scotland might be somewhere they could consider. But the key thing here is, this is an island within the UK. So if you put asylum seekers up there and they made their applications, the majority of them would be successful. They'd be granted visas. They could stay with their family who would maybe be in the UK already. Plus, because this was back in Blair's time, there probably would have been asylum seeker processing centres. You'd have way fewer boats making the trip across the channel. So comparing Tony Blair's initiative, i.e., keep the asylum seekers in the UK, and also they're not jeopardising, like, there's no risk to life of them crossing the English Channel. Comparing that to the modern Tory ethos, which is what? Shut the asylum seekers, force these people into dangerous choppy waters, then either stuff them in the Bibby Stockholm where they might get Legionnaire's disease or actually try to kill themselves, or fly them off to a third world country where they don't know the language. And in recent history, other refugees have literally just disappeared, like they've gone missing, like they've just lost them or killed them, like nobody knows what happened to them. To compare these two things, like Neanderthal is, and go, Blair used to do the same thing, so I guess it's all the same. Well, I don't suppose the left will be criticising Tony Blair, will they? Like, oh my God. I feel embarrassed for you, Lee. I really do. Like, I'm cringing so hard, I've just shattered my molars. No, keep going, Lee. To be honest, he needs a full new set. Finally, to the Eye, who suggests Boris Johnson is heckling from the sidelines, telling Sunak to get on with it. Imagine how that must feel for Rishi Sunak. You know, having someone as infamously lazy as Boris Johnson telling you to get back to work. Johnson to Sunak, get on with it, Rishi. I mean, do we need to go through the litany of examples of Boris Johnson's laziness? Do we, really? The amount of times he missed a Cobra meeting because he was too busy writing his Shakespeare book, the occasions when he was Foreign Secretary and he should have been working, but he was too busy enjoying the mouth of Gary Simmons. How about the last 8 months he was in power, when he took so many holidays, the number 10 Twitter account looked like a veritable holiday snaps album. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll be back tonight, Friday night at 7:30 with a live podcast on here, live streaming, so tune in for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe the video and drop me a comment if you have any strong feelings about any of the stories that I've just discussed. And if you're enjoying these alternative paper reviews and punk politics and the podcast, maybe consider joining. There's a little join button just below. Or jump onto Patreon. It's patreon.com/Aid Thompson. Big shout out to the Patreons and to Christine Cash, who is the first member of the YouTube community. Until next time, I'm out. See you later.